Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Abigail Klutz, and I am from Kansas City, Kansas, and I'm very excited to be here on the call with you tonight. Great things are happening. I had the privilege of meeting Brian Underwood a little bit over a year ago and was introduced to this technology and got to really understand what it was, have some time to wrap my mind around it, and really get to know Brian and some of the people who have helped develop this and bring it into the marketplace and just really get to see their hearts. And that's important to me, and I know it's important to a lot of people out there. And, the purpose of this call tonight is to really introduce you to a keto expert. And with that, that shows you the company and their pursuit of better and their pursuit and wanting to bring on the best in the industry, the most knowledgeable, people who have already spent years and years pursuing this paradigm, this education, and it's just, they're excited about it. They're excited to be here because this is something that they have been already passionate about and leading people in a very long time. And we want to keep this call tonight short and sweet and respect your time. And I'm going to introduce you to Brian Underwood, who's going to just throw it around with Dr. Jacob Wilson. And before that, I just wanted to give you a little bit of background on Dr. Jacob Wilson. Him and Brian go way back. They've been friends for a while, and I was really excited when Brian told me Dr. Jacob Wilson was going to be on the call tonight. But he's a professor and director of the Skeletal Muscle and Sports Nutrition Laboratory in the Department of Health Sciences and Human Performance at the University of Tampa in Tampa, Florida. Dr. Wilson has published over 150 peer-reviewed papers, book chapters, and published abstracts on muscle, sports nutrition, supplementation, and resistance training for bodybuilders and strength athletes. So, we have heard from a lot of doctors and researchers and scientists coming on board with this, just really excited. And I just think tonight you're going to hear something a little bit different of what Dr. Jacob Wilson offers. So at this time, I want to just pass it on to Brian. Brian's a great friend of mine and my mentor, and just really understands how to create this movement to inspire people and to get the knowledge out there and the education that we need to feel confident about this. So Brian Underwood, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, thanks so much, Abigail. I appreciate the kind words and appreciate everything that you're doing. Can you hear me okay?
I gotcha. Yep.
Awesome. Perfect. Well, listen, I'm going to keep mine very brief. First of all, I want to welcome everyone to the call. And if there's any guests that are calling in tonight, just want to say hello and welcome to the Pruvit community. And for the guests, or if you're brand new on the call, we're very proud and privileged to be able to be pioneering this entire ketone technology movement, introducing the very first therapeutic ketone product into the marketplace. And, we've been on this journey for about a year now, a little over a year of really diving into exogenous ketones. And, our commitment to each and every one of you and really to the marketplace is focusing in on being the leader, focusing in on total human optimization in the spirit of better. That's what this community is all about. And so I think all of us want better in our lives, and whatever better means to you, better is kind of that never-ending improvement, right? Constant and never-ending improvement. And, it's definitely been amazing as we knew that, ketone technology was real. Exogenous ketones have been used and studied for medical applications for, close to over 100 years, mostly, in the medical marketplace. And we have the ability now to bring a lot of that research and that understanding into the consumer market. And if you're on the call, it's an incredible journey. And I can tell you that every single day we learn more and more about the power of the ketone operating system, about the power of ketones. And when we started this and we started just previewing the product in our private preview period, we wanted to see how the marketplace was going to take it and, if they were going to accept it. And not only did they accept it, the results have become undeniable, right? It's become evident that not only the marketplace wants it, and I think everyone can really relate to that. Our marketplace is more intelligent than ever. More and more people are focused in on how they can feel better, how they can have better memory, better focus, how they can have, better aging, how they can get better energy, better vitality. And so, it's really a technology whose time has come, and it's a truly disruptive technology. But our philosophy as a company is to create a community, not to go out and sell a product. That's not what the marketplace wants. The marketplace doesn't want a bunch of heavy-handed salespeople out there trying to just make a buck. My philosophy is very simple, is that you're going to be rewarded in direct proportion to the value you bring to others and the value you bring to the world. And that's why once we learned everything that ketone technologies can do, and we were focused on human optimization, we knew this was the first step to help, optimize your metabolics. And our philosophy as a community is very simple. We don't want to sell it. What we want to do is we want to create experiences, and we want to inspire others to want to participate in our community and our programs that we're going to offer using our products. And that's what we've seen. That's what we've seen to date, as we've literally, are making record-breaking numbers each and every day. And, and in the spirit of better, our focus is to surround ourselves with the best of the best and, and focus on that commitment of raising the standard in the marketplace. And, that's why we sought out, we connected with Jacob, and, it was a quick relationship. And the reason why is because his focus is on optimization. He's totally immersed his entire life, and I would say he's in the top 5 keto experts in the world. And he's just, it's been a privilege to be able to have him on board, advising us, consulting us. He has the ketone operating system in his labs right now, and they've been doing studies on it. It's a great pleasure of mine to be able to introduce him to you tonight. And, instead of me giving a dissertation on what I think of him, what I thought I'd do is just, bring him on, introduce him to the Pruvit community. And Dr. Jacob, it's a great pleasure to have you on. If you don't mind, come on, say hello to everyone, and kind of share with everyone why you're so passionate about, ketone technology and kind of your focus and emphasis on the ketogenic diet, and, give us a little backstory of where you've been and why you're at where you are right now today.
Well, first, thank you so much, Brian and Abigail. I really appreciate the opportunity to be on today. And hello, everyone out there. It's great talking to you today. Well, it turns out that, like Brian said, my main goal has always been to study how to optimize human performance, how to study how to optimize body composition, really across lifespan and in different situations. So, and a lot of people think human performance, like Monday Night Football was on last night, and we think, it's going hard and fast and ESPN. But human performance is always also being able to play with your grandkids, being able to play with your kids or go for a hike, or be able to focus and concentrate at work. All of those things encompass human performance. And so basically our laboratory looks at human performance not just from an outward perspective, but all the way down to the cellular and molecular level. And we're always trying to find out, well, why is it that our society is performing less well? Why are they becoming obese? What is it that's actually happening? And that's what led us to understand, well, how can we adapt the metabolism so it's actually preferring fat as fuel? And that's what led us to look into the ketogenic diet. What we found basically is that the ketogenic diet, as you know, your diet's around 75% fat, 20% protein, 5% carb, and you start adapting. And what we noticed with ketogenic dieting is so many wonderful things. People were focusing more. They weren't crashing. From a molecular level, they were keeping genes on that were anti-aging. We're seeing our colleagues over at USF are finding that ketogenic dieting has anti-cancer effects. We see anti-seizure effects. And we want to know, well, why is this the case? What is going on? Is it just that fat is the preferred fuel? And what we were finding basically is that particularly the ketones themselves that are yielding a lot of these positive effects. Ketones, you have different fuel sources. You have fat, you have carbohydrates, you have protein. but the most energetically efficient fuel source out of everything that we've seen in the lab are actually ketones themselves. But to this point, to get them, you really have to be on a ketogenic diet until recently. And that's where it was real exciting getting to meet Brian, is him actually bringing this technology where you can actually take supplemental ketones. Because there's a couple of things that gives us benefit. It gives you a lot of the benefits of ketogenic dieting, whether you're ketogenic dieting or not. So we've been doing a lot of work actually in our lab with the new Pruvit product, with the Keto OS. We've been doing and finding a lot of really cool things with it. Number one is, as many of you know who have actually tested on the urine strips, you see that it puts you into nutritional ketosis immediately, and that's exciting. But we actually also look in the blood, and we see that ketone levels pretty skyrocket higher than any product that's seen on the market. We've looked at several different products that could increase ketones, like pure medium chain triglycerides or other products, and none of them raise ketones that high. Now, along with that, we're also seeing a lot of positive cognitive benefits. So consistently in our lab, we're seeing that the Keto OS product is actually increasing things like focus, like cognition. People are feeling better. But one of the benefits I see actually to ketogenic dieting in particular is that ketogenic dieting makes you very satiated. So you don't want to eat as much. Sometimes you forget to eat, and that helps you get leaner. But what's causing that is ketones. They're very satiating. And so basically we're seeing that people aren't as hungry when they take them. Now, there's two ways we're seeing that you can use ketones in our lab. One is if you're on a ketogenic diet, oftentimes we know it's super beneficial, but it's oftentimes hard to get your ketones really high. Sometimes you have a little bit too much protein. Sometimes maybe you might have a carb when you shouldn't, and so you get knocked out of ketosis, and it takes you 1 to 3 days to get back in. Or you're trying the diet, and it's taking you too long to adapt. What we're finding is that when you take ketones, no matter what happens, you're always in that state. And also, you adapt quicker to the diet. Now, we're also seeing that people basically who don't actually want a ketogenic diet, when they take the product, they still get the focus benefits of it. But here's the really cool part that we're actually seeing, and I didn't expect this, but it's phenomenal. We're actually seeing that it makes you metabolize more fat or use more fat as fuel. So ketones themselves seem to be like a molecular switch that tell your body, let me use more fat as fuel. So we're actually seeing, if you take someone, give them the product, they actually start using more fat immediately. Along with the ketogenic diet, that process is enhanced even more. Also, one of the problems when you're on really high carb is getting blood sugar levels really, really high. That's actually what causes a lot of the negative health effects we see, like type 2 diabetes, like cardiovascular disease. But when you take carbs with ketones, it actually doesn't allow your blood sugar to skyrocket as high. And every time you normally eat carbs, you're using carbs almost entirely without any fat. Basically, when you take ketones with the carbs, you're still able to use fat at a decent rate. So these are some of the exciting things we're actually seeing. We're seeing some amazing things even at the molecular level with it. Like ketones themselves, for example, one of the concerns people have when they diet, when they're losing fat is, at first their metabolisms are high, but then what happens? Everyone plateaus. Their metabolisms get really low. Why is that the case? Well, when we diet, we don't just lose fat. We lose muscle as well. And amazingly enough, we're finding that ketones themselves, the ketones that you're getting with the Keto OS product, actually protect your muscle from being burned up. They actually spare your muscle so you don't lose it, which is very, very good when you're dieting because you want to keep your metabolism up. So that's really just a few of the things I want to say. But the other thing is we've been working with Brian a lot on constantly coming up with new stuff. The greatest concept about life, about Pruvit is it's just that, prove it. So basically, we've been talking about a lot of new formulas, and we're working on a real cool new formula that it's mind-blowing. It's literally just the cognitive effects, the ketogenic effects, are sort of out of this world. And it's one of those things where it's, again, prove it. We're testing in the lab and consistently finding the same things. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys today. We're real excited and passionate about this product, and happy to be a part of it.
No, there's no doubt, and I know that our commitment, as we've shared with the community, is always optimizing, right? Never settling, and that's kind of the pursuit of better, just in general, like in life, right? Is that's how excellence is attained, and so I know that it's also about peer group. I think that everyone understands that. And, one of the things that I'd love for you to do, Dr. Wilson, is just kind of, share with everyone, some of the people that you collaborate with, in terms of around the world. I know that you have hundreds and hundreds of presentations and educational seminars that you've spoken at, huge conferences and symposiums, medical symposiums on the ketogenic diet, the benefits of ketosis, and things of that nature. But kind of share with everyone, some of the things that we're doing and you guys are doing in a collaborative form there in Tampa, Florida, and some of the individuals that you all are constantly collaborating with to always be ahead of the game, finding new technology and finding things that help optimize, not only metabolics, but, as we said, human performance.
Absolutely, Brian. So, one of the main people that we've actually collaborated with is Dr. Dominic D'Agostino, actually. And Dr. D'Agostino is doing a lot of research on ketogenic dieting and cancer. And we work with him directly to look actually at performance, because Dom actually is also an athlete as well. So he's interested for his own personal reasons as well, for gaining muscle and being able to focus at the same time. So we teamed up with him on looking at the effects of ketogenic dieting on body composition, meaning like muscle and fat mass, for the first study ever in resistance-trained individuals. And so what we ended up finding is that basically people who are ketogenic dieting, not only they gained just as much muscle as the people who were on a carb diet, but they lost twice as much fat. And these people were on maintenance calories. And they literally lost twice as much fat, and it's because they're switching their fuel source over to fat. The next, and so Dome is amazing. He's got some really, really cool devices, and he's actually doing a lot of work with Pruvit as well, finding that exogenous or supplemental ketones are actually preventing things like cancer or helping battle cancer. The next person that we've worked with extensively is Dr. Jeff Volek. So Dr. Jeff Volek and also Dr. William Kramer. Volek, of course, is one of the world's leading authorities on ketogenic dieting. And so what we've done with him is more studies. We did basically a dieting study with him, and that's what I was telling you guys about, where basically we kept ketones high in one condition, and we had them more low in another condition. And when they dieted down, the people who had ketones high lost no muscle at all. Everything they lost was fat. That got us excited, and then we started working with Jeff Volek on another project on how you adapt to ketogenic dieting. And basically, we found some really interesting stuff that ketones themselves actually, basically, they help take the carbohydrates you eat or not eat. If you're a ketogenic diet, you actually produce your own carbs as fuel, and ketones drive them towards skeletal muscle. So the craziest thing is, even if you're ketogenic dieting or if you're using carbs, if you're eating carbs, all the carbs you take go to your muscle because ketones drive them toward muscle and away from fat. But we also found that people who were ketogenic dieting had very high ketone levels, actually were able to maintain their carb source in their muscles as if they were eating carbs. And that is one of the most amazing things we've ever seen. And in fact, I just got invited, I just came back from Norway because we found those findings. They got to speak in Oslo in Norway, and they were just blown away by, whoa, about these effects. Like, how can this be? Well, it just seems like ketones actually help you maintain carb storage in your muscles even when carbs are low in your diet. The next collaborator we've been working with is Dr. Michael Roberts, and he's out of Auburn University. And we've been working with him to look at the cellular and molecular effects of ketogenic dieting. And what we're finding with him is that ketones actually seem to turn off genes that make you break down muscle. So again, that provides a preventative effect of losing muscle when you're dieting. But here's the cool thing. You guys know, like, when you're exercising and you take a protein shake, basically what happens is protein, or really the building blocks of protein, rise up in your blood, and that tells your muscles, hey, start building muscle. And when your muscles start building muscle, that causes a bunch of energy to be released, which basically makes you use your own fat as fuel. So what we're finding is that when you take these ketones, like Keto OS, basically, when you take ketones, what it does is it doesn't allow the protein to be burned up as fuel. So it rises up so high in the blood that it makes your muscle think like, oh, I need to be healthy, I need to grow, and also that requires energy from fat to be used as fuel. So that's one of the things we found with him, with Mike Roberts, and right now we're actually doing, we've done a lot of human models. We're actually giving rats basically ketones for their whole lives and seeing if they live longer. And in fact, we have some animal models where they're like on a ketogenic diet and they live longer. So those are some of the highlights of the exciting things that we've been doing. We're also partner and collaborate with a lot of people with the National Strength and Conditioning Association. So I'm the associate editor of their journal, and we're doing a lot of work with them on how to optimize a ketogenic diet for more resistance training and endurance training. So that's kind of a little snapshot of some of the things that we're doing. Like I said, we're seeing some really, really cool stuff with Keto OS, like in our studies. Again, and also we're working a lot with track athletes. So like we work today with one track athlete. His name's Isa Phillips, and basically he's actually the training partner of Usain Bolt, and he's been using the Keto OS, and he's doing, like, he notices more speed, more cognitive effects. We're talking to different sports teams about it, like the Tampa Bay Lightning. We've been using it with them for different situations. So we use it for a lot of different sports teams as well. So I'd say it's a quick overview snapshot, but I would say right now we are working kind of 24/7 on how to optimize ketogenic diet and to use supplemental ketones to take it to a new level.
No, that's awesome, and it's exciting because you and I know some of the things that are going on behind the scenes, some of the athletes, some of the professors, some of the other collaborators that are going to be coming on as part of the performance team with Pruvit and the specialist committee. And I just actually got word that our lines have been maxed out, completely maxed out. So we have literally thousands of people tuning in via the internet. And I think that's just a tribute to the conversation and how people want knowledge. And that's been the focus of our marketing initiative is educational marketing first. And I know that, Dr. Jacob Wilson and a host of other people have just a tremendous amount of knowledge that, from a training perspective, that we're going to get into depth with that. And I know that we're going to set up another time for him to come on and do really more of a detailed training on, keto life and, how you can use keto, based on your needs, because not everyone might want to go to that extreme, right? But just how you can, match the keto life based on what your needs are and how you can optimize in your life. And so we definitely look forward to that. I know that we have an upcoming event. Hopefully Dr. Jacob and Ryan Lowry and will be present at that there in October. And in closing out the call, what I want to do, Jacob, is first of all, thank you for your time and all the contribution that you've been making to, not only the company as an advisor, but, also the community in whole. And we've only just begun as the exciting news, but I also know that you have been testing a lot of, exogenous ketones and from esters to, us being the first supplemental product. There's some others out there. But, kind of share with people, what you've seen, the difference of Keto OS. But for someone on this call that they might not be an athlete, they're just an average person, but they want to see results, what can they expect to see when, they take the ketone operating system and Keto OS? I think that's very important as we close out the call.
Absolutely, Brian. So basically, I have looked at a lot of different products, and previous to Keto OS, the biggest products I've seen have been able to, at extreme dosages, that basically would cause your stomach to be really hurt, which I don't even know, we'll test in our lab. Basically, if you look at ketosis, we look in the blood and we look for your blood levels to be a minimum of 0.5 millimolars, 0.5. And we've seen with the current products on the market, taking doses again that would really mess your stomach up bad, where you just don't feel good at all. Getting people up to 0.4 and maybe 0.5 at the expense of feeling horrible. Keto OS, we've seen people get up to 3 millimolars. Like I said, 0.5 is what you want, and we've seen that within 30 minutes. On average, we're seeing guys get over 1.5 pretty much instantaneously, within 30 minutes. With increased focus, with increased cognitive function, increased satiety. So that's unheard of. And what I would say people can expect, well, for example, for me, I'm a workaholic, and I admit that a lot of times I'm traveling all over the place, and I don't get a lot of sleep. For example, I just went to Norway. Norway's 7 hours ahead. I traveled 20 hours back to the States. And I immediately had to lecture and then do an experiment. We're actually doing an experiment right now with Keto OS. We were talking with Brian earlier, looking at it on both basketball players as well as baseball players. And very sleep deprived, and I took the Keto OS, and I felt like I can function. I feel really good and ready to go. Now, that might not be the best way to use it. The bottom line is for you guys who are working hard, and if you are lacking sleep, boom, you're able to continue to go. Now, if you optimize it, and you optimize it with a ketogenic lifestyle, you can expect to see not only increased focus, improved appetite, but a lot of fat loss. But I think besides that, to me, the biggest thing, and this is where, as much as I love sport, as much as I love, speed, my biggest thing is health and longevity. Bottom line is that the ketogenic lifestyle, the Keto OS lifestyle with exogenous ketones is the healthiest thing that you could possibly do for yourself. There's so many different health benefits that we are seeing with exogenous ketones that, it's where do I begin? Improve mood, improve longevity, improve satiety. All these things are really what you could expect. But the biggest thing to understand is that it's all part of the lifestyle. And that's why next time we talk about the training is, well, how do you optimize that lifestyle? Obviously, if you have someone going out and just eating junk food and doing whatever they want, well, you're not optimizing anything. And the Keto OS will still help in that situation, improve focus. Maybe you won't get as fat. But when you have everything, when you take all the educational material into account, combined with the ketone supplementation that Pruvit's providing you, you can expect a better, more healthier life, fat loss, focus, all those things at once. So that's why we're so excited about the whole process. So again,
awesome.
Thanks for having me on.
No, thanks for being on, and definitely look forward to you being able to download and educate and go through some detailed training on some of the things that not only you've learned, but a lot of the reviews and the studies that we've been doing. Can't wait to be able to publish those and show the community. So thanks for your time, Dr. Wilson. We definitely appreciate you being on. Abigail, appreciate everything that you're doing. All the contribution you're making is just amazing. You're truly setting an example, and just raising the standard because of your passion for not only people, but, for helping people be better and finding out what their needs are. And so in closing, I know that there's another call coming out here in about 30 minutes with, one of the creators of the brand, Pruvit, Rob DeBoer, who they say every great leader can be led. He's an individual that leads me each and every day. And so in closing, I think it's appropriate to have him on. As Pruvit was the philosophy of Pruvit came from his heart, his desire, his brain, because it is what we all have in life, and that is your dreams, your goals, your destiny, your purpose. And Rob just believes as a coach that everyone has more in them. Do more, be more. You can contribute more. And when he was down in my kitchen wearing a Pruvit shirt, I said, "What's that about?" And I said, "Well, listen, I want to be a part of that with you. We got to figure out a way to do something with that philosophy, because in the pursuit of proving what your dream is, and prove it, to prove means to manifest or to demonstrate real. So in the pursuit of manifesting your dreams, you're going to inspire other people, and that's where real fulfillment comes in, because remember, success without fulfillment is just failure. And so I'm going to turn it over to Rob, let him give you details on this call, because if you want more education, more information, he's going to give it to you, really straightforward. I know he has a special guest coming on, so I did want to make sure that we gave a shout-out to that. And, remember this, as a community, we're not ivory tower people. True collaboration is currency today, and we truly believe that we are all in this together. As a community, we're in this together. Let's do it together. And, we've only just begun. We're just a baby, and we're just now crawling. So, but with that, we are gaining a lot of steam and, really creating an amazing brand. And so, Rob, with that, appreciate everything you're doing. Turn it over to you. Let them know the details of the call, and appreciate everything that you're doing out there.
Thanks, Brian, and everybody. I'll be done here in 2 minutes. So, number one, wow, Jacob, thanks so much for that information. Guys, I call it connecting the dots. And when you have someone with Jacob's resume and you look at what he's accomplished and then you hear what he just said on this call, it takes a lot of the pressure off of, you out in the marketplace. I think one of the best responses to someone that's resistant to this is just say, hey, okay, keep me in mind if you change your mind with what we have to offer. I just don't think we need to worry about the validation and the credibility at any other point in the future. I think they always kind of leave it up to the ex-jock to simplify everything. So all I'm going to do at the top of the hour, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 Central, is do what I call a fitness formula call. And it's a call because I have a background in the fitness industry, having owned gyms, athlete training centers, personal training, clientele, etc. I think that's a very important marketplace, but I also know that even myself personally, that comes with a lot of pride, arrogance, and ego. We were kind of cut from that thread when it comes to the training industry, and we want to be very methodical, very calculated as we approach that industry. So I can tell you this will be a call that if you can get somebody that has a personal training clientele, somebody that owns a box, somebody that is a performance coach, a nutritionist, anybody in the health and fitness realm, they'll listen to this call and they won't say that was a waste of time. They won't say I didn't get anything out of that. They won't say I didn't learn anything more than what I knew when this call started. I believe it's that powerful, but it'll be very simple information, and it won't just encompass Keto OS and the exogenous ketone product. This is going to not only prove what that is and what it isn't, why it works and why it doesn't, all of that. This is geared towards we've got this incredible product, and every time you have a product that people will purchase unattached to an opportunity, then you have a real opportunity, a real residual opportunity. Just ask yourself, hey, if you could never make a dime with this, would you continue to purchase this at the price that it's available? I beg to say the vast majority of us will. It's just been a game changer, and then you hear from someone like Dr. Jacob, and you understand why. We're at the very front end of something that's very powerful, and so I'm going to try to tie that all together. I wasn't even going to jump on this call, but I think it will be an important call. Get back in touch with whoever invited you to this call. They'll be able to steer you to the details. Again, that's 10 p.m. Eastern here in about 20, 25 minutes. You can find it on Facebook. I think it's posted on my page, but there's been a lot of shares. You'll find it somewhere out there, and we'll just go from there.
Can you go ahead and give out the number just so people can write it down for quick reference?
I can. Okay. So the number is 605-562-3140. Let me say that again. It's 605-562-3140. And the PIN number is 869-225-pound. That's 869-225-pound. And I'll go post this on the Pruvit page, just so you have a place to find it, and we'll go from there. So, Brian, can't thank you enough, Dr. Jacob, Abigail. I mean, it's just an honor and privilege to be on, and Brian, I'll turn it back over to you. Thanks again for letting me speak about that.